Call the member for Capricornia.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Collinsville residents have been calling for reliable telecommunications, not as a luxury but as an essential service that is frankly overdue. With a poor response from the Minister for Communications to my correspondence regarding this very issue, I visited Collinsville with a Telstra representative so that they could hear from the community directly. At this public meeting, I listened as locals shared their frustrations, anger and even fear about the lack of mobile coverage. For them, this isn't a minor inconvenience, it is a crisis. Locals who live in constant fear for loved ones with serious medical conditions, who know that in an emergency they may not be able to call for help. Small businesses whose day-to-day work is impacted and affecting their bottom line, while community nurses who provide care to Collinsville's most vulnerable are unable to complete their paperwork on the ground with their patients. Imagine being in that position. Imagine the frustration. This would never be tolerated in our capital cities, so why should it be acceptable in regional Australia? Following this meeting, with promises for an upgrade to their telecommunication tower sometime in this financial year, I made an urgent appeal directly to Telstra's CEO, asking her to prioritise this essential upgrade. The response I received was both frustrating and disheartening. Rather than committing to resolve the ongoing issues, these pleas were dismissed, citing a lack of funding for much-needed improvements. In response to my letter, it stated that while Telstra has plans to improve mobile performance in the Collinsville area, they simply don't have the funds to make it happen right now. Labor often boasts about record spending on regional telecommunications, yet here we are. One of the major telecommunication providers in this country claims they can't afford to deliver these essential upgrades. This reveals a disturbing disconnect between what the government says and what is actually being delivered. Rural and remote communities like Collinsville are sick of hearing about promises of funding that never seem to reach them. And let's be clear, this is not just about phone calls, it's about safety. It's about the security of knowing that in an emergency, help is just a phone call away. It's about accessing essential services, staying connected with loved ones, and having the dignity of knowing that rural Australians are valued as those in our cities. I am not willing to accept this complacency. I refuse to let Collinsville be left in the dark. This fight is far from over. I will be contacting the Minister for Communications again, and I will not stop until she finds the funding she so often speaks of. My constituents deserve better than vague promises, or worse yet, the suggestion that they simply switch to a different provider, as was the advice given by the Minister's office. To the people of Collinsville, I hear you and I am standing with you. I will continue fighting until we see the action you deserve.